Hello and welcome to my channel. Thanks for stopping by. I'm going to start with a general reading. I will be doing an extended. If you've watched my videos before, you can go ahead and move forward to the actual reading. If you haven't seen one of my intuitive readings before, here's the long and the little of it. I'm an intuitive reader. I do not read traditional tarot. My intuitive readings are all focused on the sacred union journey and spiritual evolution of the divine feminine and the divine masculine as we are on our ascension journey. That's my focus, so if you're not engaged in that experience, you can, of course you can watch, but it may not resonate with you. As we all know, in this online world, discernment is our responsibility, and whether information resonates with us or not is for us to decide, and you get to click off at any time if what I am sharing with you doesn't resonate. The information about the extended reading will be in the description box below, along with a PayPal link if you would like to support my channel. I would appreciate that. There are all kinds of, doing anything online isn't really free. And so the work that I've been doing for the last 30 years, only the last 6 of it have been online. And it's actually quite expensive to have an online presence. So if you care to make a donation, a good karma or a good co-creation sharing, I would appreciate it. Okay, so here's where we're at. Today is August 9th, and while you're not going to necessarily go by the date of this reading, because time is fluid, past, present, and future are arbitrary designations that have been imposed on human consciousness, at least in the 3D construct. So if you are, how can I say, let me see how I want to put this. You're on your timeline, and your timeline is active. Our timelines are merging. Some of us have had the experience of timelines merging suddenly and swiftly and literally being not on the same page with people and finding that we're in two separate realities, even though we're on the same calendar day, we're in the same space and geographical location within just a few feet of each other, but our realities have become separate. So as our timelines merge, this becomes more and more and more of a possibility. And with sacred union, our timelines are merging so that we do come into the union experience as part of our ascension journey. When I'm talking about masculine and feminine, these are co-creative energies. This is not about gender. So cross-watchers, cross-gender people, you sort all that stuff out for yourselves. Okay. So this is where the current energies are today for the divine masculine, for some divine masculines in the collective, as they are approaching their moment in the Lion's Gate, going through the Lion's Gate, or not. Not everyone who is in sacred union at this time is going to go through this wave of the Lion's Gate. And in this reading, we're going to have a look at some of the issues that the divine masculine is grappling with as he's making that determination whether or not he's going to stay on his timeline merge and go through the union with his divine feminine. So the first card we have out is the Sage. And this is a beautiful card of an embodied human being who has really taken his life experience to heart, no matter what his age. And he is allowing himself to become a whole and embodied wise person. So this is the energy that is sort of at the forefront, leading the way, having the courage and the wisdom to move into the timeline that leads to sacred union and leads to going through this Lion's Gate. And next out we have the Glenconer, which for me represents the distorted divine masculine, the distorted patriarchal male energy also embodied. This would be what that energy might look like at from a spiritual perspective. And so there are some divine masculines right now who are having an internal conflict between their wise self that's ready to learn how to co-create and their manifesting selfish self who is still focused on material acquisition, who knows there's something more, but who still in a way is struggling with addictions that are part of his experience in the material world. And addictions can take many forms. I think one of the things that I don't often hear mentioned in these card readings when it's talked about in terms of addictions, we all can think about codependent relationships, we can think about drug addiction, we can think about alcohol addiction, but very rarely is sexual addiction or addiction to pornography mentioned. And I'm going to just put that out there because there's many an embodied human male who, through whatever process he's been through, finds himself now having intimacy with a real, live, embodied human being, very, very difficult and challenging, has been seduced by online dating, and has been seduced by the facility with which people can connect at the most superficial levels and then engage in sexual activity at the most superficial level that doesn't really involve any love or any deep soulful intimacy. It's just getting a physical need met, and then because that need doesn't really get fulfilled, it becomes addictive. We have to keep doing it because we're not quite getting the fix that we're hoping for. So that's the energy of the Glenconer. Now next out, we have the Singer of Connection. So here we can see the struggle that some divine masculines are in as they're going through the gate. They are needing to do a bit more inner work by bringing the Sage and the Singer of Connection to this part of themselves, to this distorted part of their masculinity. And it's a process. And many of them are engaging it actively. They're becoming aware of the nature of these addictions and the sources of these addictions. These addictions are not rooted in a spin of the wheel. They're not happenstance. They have a beginning. And we can become conscious of the beginnings of these addictions. Okay, so we have Singer of Connection. And let me put these two together. With the Singer of Connection, we have Singer of the Chalice. So here, the selfish, service to self, manifesting potentially narcissistic, distorted male energy, potentially addicted to sex and pornography, potentially intimacy averse, potentially conflict averse, emotional conflict averse. So this is a person who will engage in sex to get a quick high, but is not interested in emotional intimacy. So this part of the divine masculine is being actively engaged by his conscious process and bringing assistance to that in terms of the divine team. We have both the Singer of Connection and the Singer of the Chalice, which is about the heart connection. And then we have, through that process, we have the beginning of transformation. Whoa, whoa, just excuse me, whoa, having a major chill on this. Whoa, hang on a minute. Whoa, yeah. So here you can see the energy of the Glenconer is now also being impacted by this card, Arvel the Parrot. And you can see that this card is a beautiful depiction of human vulnerability and tenderness and a sense of humility and a little bit of insecurity and a little bit of I may not be sure of myself, where the Glenn Conner is putting on the mask presentation of I am very sure of myself, I'm very confident, I'm very suave and very attractive, and I have lots of big toys and goodies to attract whoever he wants to attract as a sexual predator. So here we have the sage holding this course, this timeline, where this inner conflict is getting worked out as he's, really heading for the Lion's Gate. In actuality, neither of these energies can move through the Lion's Gate with the Divine Masculine, because this energy isn't in wholeness with its ego, arrogance, and this energy isn't in wholeness in its self-abasing sense of inner humiliation. So these are both masks of the Divine Masculine that will have to be transformed before the Divine Masculine can go through the Lion's Gate. Okay, wow, whew, still buzzing here. Now, the core energy of this reading is the Divine Masculine here in his balanced, expressive self, free to express himself as his own soul sound and song. And this is going to happen for him when this mask and this mask presentation of a false self are transformed, transmuted, and integrated. And he will always have this wiser energy deep within him to touch into when he needs to stay on his timeline for union and to allow these energies to integrate so that he can move forward. This is a very intentional energy. The sage is very clear about his intention. He knows what he's about. And the piper has the intention. This is a kind of a beautiful rendering of the Divine Masculine in balance with his feminine energy here as a masculine energy. This is the soul song. This is connected to nature. So is this. This is expression and creativity. This is strength and virility and potency. Beautiful, beautiful transformation here. So this is the core energy of this reading. As Lee says, the current energies are asking me to translate, and I am I'm sorry, but I do when I'm in a very clear energy stream that's in truth, transparency, and trust, and very much connected to Source and Gaia. I do have an embodied physical response that's very powerful. Okay, so that having been identified as the core of this reading, as the Divine Masculine is still positioning himself to move and merge on his timeline with his Divine Feminine and move into sacred union, here we have the Guardian of the Gate next out, and we have the Maiden. So here we have actually a reflection, a validation of a movement toward the gate, toward the Lion's Gate. And that this gate is absolutely, you cannot pass through this ascension gate if you're not ready to go through it. And all of your subtle energy bodies are not in alignment, and you haven't transmuted and transformed all that you need to, the purging and the removal of those elements that are not part of your divine blueprint, so that when you move through the Lion's Gate, whether you are a female or a male embodied person, you are moving through this gate with the energy of the maiden. This energy moves through the gate with no difficulty, and in that movement through the gate, this being heals the gate and makes it available and makes it easier for other beings who are ready to pass through the lion's gate. Whew. Okay, so that's happening. And then let's just keep moving here, as this is happening for the divine masculine, and he is moving in his new innocent being, new co-created self, having figured out the difference between service to self-manifestation and conscious co-creation. Then we have Solus coming into the journey of the union. And so this is a beautiful, beautiful expression of a different kind of enormous spiritual strength that the divine masculine is embodying and is bringing into the union journey. And he needs this. He needs this to deal with these masks of the distorted masculine and to transform these energies. So this falls away and is transmuted and integrated, and this falls away. And so now we have the strength, we have the intention, we have the embodiment of the emotional connection, excuse me, and we have the meta being, the oversoul energy, the monadic energy coming through now. And this is necessary because this is where this Glenn Conner has to deal with the feminine side of himself that is supporting his addictions, his codependencies, and his distortions. So this is very, very powerful, this transformation. And it is happening, and there are divine masculines who are going through the gate. So not only are they getting supported in transforming this energy, as they're understanding that this has to be processed and integrated, that these distortions have to be transmuted and integrated and released into neutral energy. They have to go back to 0 point in source. And here comes the 0 point energy card. So the divine masculine is working through these conflicts, and that energy is being supported as he is moving into and through the lion's gate and back into 0 point energy as part of the return journey of his electromagnetic energy and his combination with his divine feminine and their journey back into co-creation with source. That is powerful. So that's really a beautiful expression of this. And then I did pull out some additional cards for clarification of where the feminine energy is and where the divine masculine is in relationship to the feminine energy, the divine feminine supporting him in dealing with these masks and getting through the gate in union and in wholeness. So the cards that came out for this are My Dear Friend, which is a beautiful depiction of the divine feminine and divine masculine in a natural organic union in which they are connected and loving and kind and gentle. And then we have Like a Bird. So this is the divine feminine supporting the divine masculine as he sings his soul song, and she is communicating to him, I am not here to hold you down. I am not here to oppress you. I am not here to reject you or abandon you. I am not here to force you to create and maintain a mask which prevents us from being intimate together with all of our subtle energy bodies. You are like a bird. You are free as a bird to be yourself, to sing your own song, to live your journey, even as we're in this sacred union journey together. And then the next card out was the Queen Bee. So while the Divine Masculine is experiencing himself like this, and like this, and like this, the Divine Feminine in balance is experiencing herself as the Queen Bee. And here you can see she is in balance. This is her bliss channel. This represents the bliss channel. The flow of honey and sweetness, the reorganization of Gaia in her evolutionary journey of ascension. It is in balance between the left hemisphere, the right hemisphere, the central bliss channel, and the energies are flowing up, back up to source. And this is a grounded feminine energy. So that is also what this Divine Masculine is experiencing as his support as he's headed through the gate. All right, so that's going to be the general reading, the last cards that we have out. From the Divine, from Source, we have Co-Create. This is our encouragement to make that journey through the gate and get busy with our mission. From the Divine Feminine, we have soulmates, because the Divine Feminine at this point may be also working with the soul group and its ascension journey. And then we have Loyal Heart. So this is a beautiful affirmation of the Divine Masculine. Wow, the Divine Masculine coming into self-mastery and sovereignty, getting through the gate, and dropping the masks that are barriers to intimacy and connection, wholeness, and unconditional love. That card is an 8. This card is a 4, which is stability. And this card is a 5, which is about the beautiful processes of change that our soulmates assist us with. Okay, thank you very much for stopping by. And please, if this has resonated with you, please do like, comment, and share. Thanks so much. Until next time.
you.